Hello everybody, it is Star Raptor here, and welcome to my spoiler-free review for The Mandalorian Season 1. This is super important for Star Wars fans because this is the first ever live-action Star Wars series, and I don't think it could work unless we had Disney Plus, because that's what it airs on. It streams on Disney Plus, which is the new competitor, if you will, to Amazon Prime and Netflix. So this was conceived by visionary in Hollywood, Jon Favreau. He has done things like Lion King, like The Jungle Book, like Iron Man, and he has help from his right-hand man from back in the day. We have Dave Filoni from the Clone Wars, from Star Wars Rebels. He is highly acclaimed for creating some of the best content in Star Wars that revolves specifically around the animated series, so it's really great to see him coming to live action. So this series consists of 8 episodes, and they revolve around this guy who is a lone gunslinger. He is a Mandalorian, similar to the armor that you see the infamous Boba Fett wearing in the original trilogy. This is a guy that is roaming around the galaxy about 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. So to put that in perspective, the Empire has fallen, but there are still remnants of the Empire around. So this guy, we don't really know anything about his backstory, and he is going around as a bounty hunter. That is how he's making his way around the galaxy in the Outer Rim specifically, where there isn't the New Republic government set up. So there's a lot of bounty hunters that are kind of like the law bringers in the galaxy at that point. So they're the ones that are going around taking out the scum and villainy. And well, he comes across this very interesting mission that has him bringing back the certain asset, and that happens to be a creature that looks like it would be a Baby Yoda. Yes, that is what the phenomenon online is. All the memes for Baby Yoda, it comes from this TV series, and the connection between the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, as I like to call him, and many people do, is this great grand adventure of them trying to escape bounty hunters, them trying to escape the Empire, making new allies along the way, going to many different planets. And that is as much as I want to get into it with you as far as the plot, because you definitely need to check this out. So getting into my positives for The Mandalorian. First off is The Mandalorian in general. This is a character that remains helmeted throughout this entire season. He is a character that evokes so much emotion, played by Pedro Pascal. The way he acts with the mask, the way his deep backstory runs, he is the man with no name. Basically, a lot of this derives content from Western type movies and cinema, and it really just revolves around this Mandalorian, and I just cannot get enough of his character. Throughout this first season, he is sort of a leveling up, as you will, in a video game to a certain degree, as he's upgrading his armor, his gadgets. He is a character that is not infallible. We see him fail a lot. We see him fail a lot. I mean, this is a character that you can kind of get behind because he is sort of grounded in reality in a sense that, you know, he's not successful for a lot of things, and he's learning from his mistakes. And by the end of this certain season here, he actually grows quite a bit. And I do want to talk about Baby Yoda, because this is a phenomenon, as I said, and this is a character that really is the cutest thing I think we've ever seen in Star Wars. And the way that they were able to play off the beats of this character that has these really cute moments, he's able to make the audiences laugh for sure, but just remain a focal point in this series, not just from a plot standpoint, but from a point that we really care about this guy. We don't want anything to happen to this awesome character, and he's from the lineage of Yoda's species, which brings a lot more mystery around this character. It adds to the level of speculation around the community about everybody talking about where's his backstory from, what is he going to do, and there's lots of surprises that will really excite everybody watching this little guy. Also, a big thing about this series is the Mandalorian. So we build up on the lore that was presented to us in the Clone Wars, in Star Wars Rebels. This awesome kind of class, not really a class system, but this war band of mercenaries, kind of. They have their own kind of ways about them. This is the way, as they like to say. And they are all shrouded in mystery after their collapse of their people through the events of the Empire. They are on the run. We learn a lot about their culture and about how they're like a warrior culture. And it really just digs into the stuff that we find out a lot about in Legends, which is the old EU, old expanding universe. This series does so much for fans that have really dug into that material, and they are pulling stuff out of the Legends and putting it into this show, which just makes it so exciting. The visual effects. So this is the first time we're seeing Star Wars on a smaller screen in live action, and it is absolutely breathtaking. Some of the stuff that they pull off, I don't even like see the difference between feature film and this. It's just it's unbelievable. I think there was like $10 million worth of an episode to create for a budget for each episode. So yeah, they're really dumping a lot of money into this, but it is the right time. As George Lucas first initially wanted to create a live action series, like maybe 10 or 15, like 15 years ago or something, and he just didn't have a means of doing it. But now it's streaming with Disney Plus, they definitely can work around and have creative control about what they are doing. The cinematography is incredible. We are going to all these different landscapes, all these different worlds, desert worlds, forested worlds. We're going into the interiors of ships. We're seeing multiple different places, multiple different ecosystems, if you will. Lots of little creatures scurrying around. It really feels like a lived-in universe after the events of Return of the Jedi, which you're going to see a lot of Imperial tech, a lot of different kind of looking aliens, a lot of aliens that returned from the original trilogy, from the prequels, that we haven't really seen a lot of in a new trilogy, but they really play to that nostalgia so well. The Western vibe is incredible. Each episode really feels like it's capturing a different kind of feel for a Western movie, if you will. Like all these different tropes that they're playing on, but they're putting a Star Warsy spin. Really cool kind of angle of attacking it from. The thing that I like the most is the underworld feel. I really like Solo: A Star Wars Story because we dive into the underworld, if you will. And this series really gets into there with the bounty hunters, with the way they are so badass. You're seeing droids like IG-11. It's incredible, and I can't go without saying about the cast of characters is so diverse. You got Cara Dune. She is an ex-rebel shock trooper. She's dealing with some things. She hates the Imperials. Then you have Grief Karga, who is this bounty hunter chairman, if you will. He's the guy that gives out all the bounties, and he has a very colorful past and a different kind of way of going about things. So you have Quill the Ugnaught, who is the kind of spiritual guidance of the Mandalorian and really tries to shape where he is going next. So, and you have IG-11, this assassin droid. There's just so much in here that you can get behind. Each one of these characters is portrayed very well, acted very, very well, in my opinion. It's just so much to love about these characters, and by the end of this first season I was really feeling attached to some of these characters, and feeling like I'm on the edge of my seat during certain action sequences where their life could be in peril. You really build up the suspense. The tension is as excellent. The music by Ludwig Göransson is really awesome. Like, I just had that theme song stuck in my head all the time, but it's not just the theme song, because he goes through different kind of Star Warsy music that we haven't heard from before, like almost even electronica slash hip hop at certain points in certain episodes. He does a great job of being quiet at certain times, but then really building up and swelling the music. And we're not hearing stuff from like the original trilogy or the prequels or anything. It's just like completely new music, which is just incredible because it goes with the whole concept of the show, which is completely new characters and story. And that's why I can get behind the show so much, is because we are learning so much new stuff about Star Wars. We are not being hamstrung by being, attached to certain characters. These are all brand new characters. Something I wanted to see, which is one of the reasons why I love Rogue One, a Star Wars story, so much, is we follow these brand new characters. We don't know what their fates are going to be. Everything is up in the unknown, and it's the same can be applied to this. With all those positives, there are just a couple negatives that kind of stuck out to me in season 1 of The Mandalorian. The first one is there's a lot of characters that show up in like one single episode, and some of the actors, it didn't feel like they were like acting necessarily in Star Wars. It felt a little bit off to me. They have a lot of comedy actors, and some of them just didn't feel like they necessarily fit into Star Wars. There was just one episode in this series, or in this season of 8, that felt like it was almost like a throwaway. Now, if you really want to look at it closely, I'm sure we could find something. But initially, I watched the episode and was like, yeah, there's not a whole lot in there that I can really see that goes into the main plot. And yeah, some of these episodes in the middle of this season felt like they were a little bit disjointed. We do have the Mandalorian learning more about himself and what makes him tick, and the relationship between and Baby Yoda, because that's all about him and Baby Yoda and them trying to find out what is going on with the Empire. There's just one other plot device very minute, but it has to deal with the bounty hunters and like how they're able to track people. And I feel like that wasn't resolved in this season. Not saying it can't be resolved by the end of the series, but I would have liked to see some more revolving around that. But with that being said, The Mandalorian Season 1, I would say, is a must-watch for any Star Wars fan. Even if you aren't a Star Wars fan, I would really highly recommend watching this because there's really nothing like it out there. So with that being said, I'm going to give it a score of a 9 out of 10. Almost a perfect score in my eyes. There is a little bit more to work on, and this is the first time we've seen a live-action Star Wars series, so I'm not really sure where to kind of grade this right now because we are getting a Cassian, Andor, and K2SO Star Wars story, as well as an Obi-Wan miniseries coming out hopefully in the next year or two. So this is really this is it, guys. We have started in this whole new medium for Star Wars. So what do you guys think of The Mandalorian Season 1? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. If you guys like this content and want to see more, I talk about Star Wars on a weekly basis. I have reviews for Star Wars Resistance, the ongoing animated series, as well as the comics and books. So make sure you go ahead and simply support the channel by subscribing and hitting that notification bell icon so that way you'll be alerted when new videos go live. That is going to do it for me, Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. This is the way. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.